Hello, my name is Jamie and I want to welcome you back to my channel where we review, demo, and discuss makeup and give commentary on the beauty community as a whole. So, it's been a while since I've last uploaded. It's been a good long while. So basically, there's a variety of things that were going on in my life that kind of had me put making content on the back burner. I was sick one week, then there was Thanksgiving week, and then last week my daughter was in a production of the Nutcracker, and that was hectic and everything, and I spent most of my time doing her makeup actually. But at any rate, with all that being said, just because I wasn't making videos does not mean I have not been purchasing makeup. And today I wanted to review a few affordable makeup products that I purchased from Ulta during their Cyber Monday sale. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the Halo Berlin palette, and this is by Essence. I have heard a lot about the Essence brand improving their eyeshadow formula recently. I am not really familiar with the brand outside of the mascara that they make, which is like my all-time favorite mascara. I've never tried anything else from the brand. So I'm really excited to try this out and see how the formula is. Let's see, this retails for $9.99 and I paid $4.79 for it during the Ulta sale. So my suggestion would be wait till you can get use one of the Ulta coupons to pay for it. Don't pay full price. Really, you shouldn't pay full price for anything from Ulta because they always have coupons available either through their little catalogs that they send through the mail or on their app. All right, so that's the first thing that I got. The second thing that I got is this highlighter palette by Revolution, and this is their collaboration with Soph Does Life. So this is the Soph highlighter palette. There are 8 different shades, and I'll open this up so you can get a better look at it. So it has like a nice variety. I've heard really, really good things about this palette. I heard that Revolution, the brand itself, can be very, very inconsistent, but when they do collaborations with influencers, their formulas always knock it out of the park. So this retails for $12 and I paid $6.72 for it. All right, the last thing that I got from Ulta is what's called the blush, very basic, from Essence. And let's see, this is in the shade Beloved. So kind of like a mauve-y pinky color. This retails for $2.99 and I paid $1.44 for it. And the very last product I want to share with you, I actually purchased from Target. I've been on the hunt for different lip gloss formulas. Like lip glosses are one of my favorite things to buy. They're primarily the main thing that I wear on my lips as opposed to lipstick, especially with having to wear a mask most of the time. So I was like, you know what, let me just try to get something that I have not tried before, like a brand that I normally don't purchase from. So I got what's called The Gloss by Revlon. It says Super Lustrous, and this is in the shade Rosy Future. I have used this a few times since I purchased it, and guys, I really, really like it. I highly suggest it. It doesn't feel sticky, it doesn't feel overly heavy on the lips, and it provides like a really nice shine and color. So definitely recommend this. And this retails for $6.99 at Target. All right, so let's get into applying the eyeshadow. I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush, the LBE 1 brush by Lunar Beauty. And I'm going to start, none of these shades have names, but I'm going to start with this shade right here. I like that even though this is a really inexpensive brand, they still provide a mirror for their eyeshadow. A lot of brands, even brands that cost more than this, do not. One of the other things that I purchased during the Ulta sale was, I don't remember the name of it, but it's a really, really large warm neutral palette by Colourpop. The Bare Necessities, that's what it's called. And that normally retails, I want to say $34, and I got it for like 20 bucks. I used it for my daughter in her Nutcracker performance. Okay, this went on really smooth. I had no problems. I don't see any patchiness. So far so good. The next shade that I'm going to be using is this, I guess this is like a dark teal right here. And I'm going to go in the inner corner of my eye with it using the LBE6 brush. So this is gonna be a really big test because dark colors I find are the most likely to get patchy. Okay, so far so good. It's going on okay. Now, one thing I've noticed recently, I follow a lot of makeup influencers on YouTube, and I noticed that I am a lot more likely to give favorable reviews to eyeshadow palettes than they are. And it may be because they're able to, they could afford to try a lot more brands than me, or that I'm just not quite as picky. But I just want to represent like the average consumer, like the average person that's going to go into Ulta or Sephora and purchase something. And the third thing is I only purchase products that I really, really hope to like. I don't buy things just to buy them. Like, I don't got money for that. Like, eventually I'll be willing to try to purchase products that I may not like just so you guys can see them. But one thing I've heard is that people don't trust influencers who always give positive reviews. And I just want you guys to know that every review that I give is my honest to goodness opinion. I have no incentive to speak highly of something that sucks. All right, I'm going in with this lighter shade right here. I don't know what color that is. It's like a grayish green color. And I'm gonna go into my crease with it. But so far, so good. I mean, for the price point, I don't really have any complaints about this so far. Now, one thing I'm gonna start doing, maybe not for every video, but when I have time, is I'm going to do a wear test where I film in the morning, wear the eyeshadow throughout the day, just to see how well it does. Like, as far as like fading or traveling around the face, like that kind of thing. And that was a suggestion from one of my subscribers. His name is Brandon, and he is a really good friend of mine. So Brandon, thank you for that suggestion. I think that's a really good idea, because it's really not a good value. It's really not a good eyeshadow or makeup product in general if it's gonna look like shit halfway through the day. I'm going in with that rosy color right at the top, and I'm just blending the edge out. I don't have any product on my brush right now. I'm just blending it out. I feel like one side got like a little bit muddy. That would be my one thing with these eyeshadows that I would be a little bit cautious about, is I could just kind of see that they could get a little bit muddy depending on how you mix the colors, because they're not the most blendable eyeshadows. Like, I've had a lot of eyeshadows that blend a lot more effortlessly. But you know, we're talking about an eyeshadow palette that costs $10 at most versus eyeshadow palettes that I own that are like 40 some dollars. So I don't think it would be fair to rate it the same, like, and to expect the same quality. So next, I'm going to highlight my brow bone, I'm going in with this cream shade right up here. And I'm going to use a blending brush. I'm going to use this smaller blending brush. This is the LBA3. So this lighter shade I'm not liking as much. It doesn't have as much pigmentation. Let me hold the brush closer to the ferrule. So I feel like my one side looks so much better than the other. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But yeah, this light shade does not have nearly enough pigmentation for my liking. And it's not blending well with the brighter shade. And this is where things may start to go wrong because I like the one eye. Like the one eye turned out really nice. But the other eye, I'm having some problems like with muddiness in here. I don't know. Do you guys see that? Like this side I like so much more than this side. This side is like not doing very well. I wonder if I can take like a makeup wipe and just kind of clean that up. Let's see. If this doesn't go well, I may screw up this whole entire look, but I'm just going to lightly take away some of the shadow. I think that's going to be my #1 criticism of this palette, is that it can get muddy very, very easily, which I don't think that's really good if you're a beginner. When you're a beginner, you really need your eyeshadow products to blend very effortlessly. You don't want to have to work for it that much. So, like for example, the reddish color that I've been using, I accidentally went up too high onto my brow bone, and with a better quality eyeshadow of this cream color, I would be able to cover up that mistake. But because it doesn't have that pigmentation, I can't fix it. So it's gonna have to be whatever, you know. This may not be my finest work, but it is what it is. Sometimes it's just not one of them days. I'm going to add a shimmer to the top as well. I'll take this little tiny brush here. This is the LBE6. And I'm going to go in with one of the shimmers. Let's see, which one do I want to use? Do I want to go, I'm trying to think, am I going to have a gold day or I'm going to stick with the pinky colors? I think I'm going to stick with the pinky colors. You know what, let me swatch this. I'm going to swatch all 3 shimmers. I'll show you and then I'll decide which one I want to use, okay? So first is the lightest one. It's a light pink color. All right, so we got that. And then we have a color that's very similar but slightly darker. And then we have a gold. Okay, so there's all the colors. This really pops. That light one really, really pops. The one with the least amount of pigmentation is like the rosy color. And then the gold is good, but it may be hard to see because it's very similar to my skin tone. I'm gonna go in with that first really poppy shade, that icy shade. And that way I can fix the mistake that I made on my brow bone. All right, let's see how this goes. Swatches don't tell the full story. Like something could swatch really good and still work like crap on the eye. So we'll see. So far, so good. Yeah, that really, that's a good shimmer. I would say it's like a metallic. It's not very sparkly, but it has a lot of showing power. It really does show up. It really does have a pop. Nothing like revolutionary, but still good. Yeah, I really wish that lighter pink shade that I had more pigmentation. That one I really don't like. I still feel like one side is better than the other. I'm going to use this shade again, this lighter green, and I think I'm going to fill up the rest of my eyelid with that color. I'm going to use the LBE5 brush. This is like a large flat brush. One thing that's nice with these shadows is there's not a lot of fallout. There's not any fallout actually. So I would say it is safe to use this palette before foundation. And I'm just gonna blend, make sure that my edges are blended. I'm gonna go in with the darker shade again. There was a little bit of like fading with that, like where I dusted it away. I'm going to take, I'll use the same large flat brush with it. Just add a little bit more of that pop of color. There's a tiny bit of patchiness with this light shade right here. Just a little bit, so you have to layer it. I don't think it's anything too crazy though. Like nothing that would make me say like, oh, this is trash, this is terrible. Okay. And I'm gonna go in with this super dark shade just in the inner corner. I'm gonna get the smallest brush. I'm going to use the LBE7 brush, which is a tiny flat brush. And I'm going in with this shade. It's like a midnight blue. I want to say it's like a midnight blue color. Almost black, but not quite black. Or maybe it is. Like coming up on the brush, it looks a lot darker. So I'm just gonna very carefully do my inner corner. This is just like a little accent, just to deepen it up. I don't want it to overpower the look. I'm gonna put it on and then I'm gonna blend it after. I think that's gonna be it for the eyes for now. I'm gonna put on my foundation, then we'll continue the review. Okay, so I'm back. I finished my eyes off camera. I just did like underneath with the reddish shade and the deep green shade. And I used my foundation and a little bit of bronzer. Yeah, so we're ready to go into the blush. This is probably the cheapest blush that I will ever get in my life. I mean, I paid under $2 for it. So my expectations are not that high. I like the embossing on it, it's cute. Let's see. Okay, it's definitely got pigmentation. A little bit goes a long way. All right, let me blend this out. Wow, that is much more pigmented than I thought it would be. All right, let's do the other side. I'm gonna use a large fluffy brush. I almost, to be honest with you guys, I almost think that it is too pigmented and it doesn't blend out super easy. So what I would do in the future is just go in with a very, very light hand and just put like a touch on the face, like real easy. This doesn't have any product on it. I'm just blending. So if you really like a blush with a lot of pigment, this would be a way to go. Like, I can imagine if you have a really deep skin tone and you have a difficult time with blushes showing up, this would definitely be a good option, but you just have to watch because it is a little bit difficult to blend out. I mean, it costs $2 in retails for $2.99. So like, when I say, like, I can't really complain too much because it's so inexpensive, but I mean, it is pretty. Let's see how it wears throughout the day. All right, so next is the gloss, which I have tried before. I'm gonna line my lips with the Love Letter Lip Liner by St. Luxe. I got this probably in a BoxyCharm, or Ipsy. Ipsy tends to do St. Luxe a lot. I'm just gonna line my lips and then put the gloss on top of it. Okay, got my lips lined, and let's put the gloss on. I would buy this in every color. Like, seriously, I like it that much. Look at that, how that shine. And like I said, it's not sticky. It's not heavy. It's not as lightweight as the Lunar Beauty gloss. The Lunar Beauty gloss feels like a lip oil, if you're familiar with lip oils. This feels like a gloss, but a really, really good gloss. Look at that shine that it puts on the lips. And it stays on for quite a while. Like, you are gonna have to reapply it, you know, throughout the day, especially with putting a mask on and off and everything. But it really does have good longevity. I would definitely recommend this. I would buy it in every color. So, all right, I got my face on. What I'm gonna do is wait a few hours just to see how this wears throughout the day, and then I'll be back to give my final thoughts. All right, see you soon. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to put the highlighter on. Well, let me straighten my camera out a little bit for you guys. All right, I can't believe I almost forgot this highlighter. Holy moly, this is the thing that I'm actually the most excited to try. So there are all of these shades to choose from. I'm afraid like that this one would be too dark for me, but I'm curious to try this shade right here on the end. And I'm going to be using the Sigma F37 Spotlight Duster to apply it. This is a wonderful, wonderful highlight brush. I'm going in with a light hand. I'm not trying to do like a from space highlighter right now. Just like a nice glow. All right, let's see. I would say it's nice for like a glow, but if you wanted to do like a really, really bam type of highlighter, like really showy, this probably wouldn't be it, but it does give a good glow. You can see on my cheeks, it has that highlight. To be honest, it's not my favorite. Like, I'm looking for a replacement for my Ofra highlighters, and I would not say that this is it, but would I use it on a regular basis? Yes, I believe it's buildable. I think what I would also try is a different brush, like one that's a little bit more dense. I think you need that to be able to like get in there and get that pigment if you want like a higher level of highlight. Initially I went in with a very soft hand just so I would get that glow, but then I didn't see anything, so I had to put more and more on just to get it to look like this. So like I said, it's pretty. It's not my favorite. Is it worth the money? Yeah, I would say that is worth the money. If you like a more subtle highlighter, I think you'll be happy with this. All right, so now for real, I'm gonna go, but I will see you guys after a few hours. Okay guys, I am back. It is currently 6:30 in the evening, and I finished filming this at noon. So I've been wearing this for a few hours, and let's see how it held up. Let's see. With the eyeshadow, I would say the eyeshadow held up wonderfully. I don't really notice any difference. Maybe a little bit of fading under my eye, but my lid, see there, still looks good. Maybe a little bit of fading, but nothing too noticeable, especially after wearing it for several hours. The highlighter, let me tell you a little bit about the highlighter. The highlighter faded as very shortly after filming. So what I did was I was like, you know what, this palette has gotten really good reviews, so maybe there's something I didn't do right. Let me try a different brush. What it is that I think this particular shade is a dud. So I went back into the palette and I used this shade, and I used a denser brush, and it turned out to look pretty good for like if you just want like a glow from within look, not like see from space type highlight. And it's still good. Like I said, it's subtle. I prefer something that's has a little bit more punch to it. But if you enjoy like a modest type highlight, I think that this would be a decent palette for you. The lip gloss, I've eaten, I've drank. I still feel the lip gloss on my lips a little bit, but it really just faded, I would say maybe an hour ago before I had dinner. So I would say that has really good longevity. The blush is still there. That held up. It died down a little bit, but I don't really think that that's necessarily a bad thing because it is so pigmented. And I think that's it. That and the palette. Yeah, okay, so that's it. So overall, I liked the products that I tried, but the only one that I absolutely fell in love with is the lip gloss. I would say with the Essence eyeshadow palette, it is a decent, cheap palette to use if you have some experience with eyeshadow. I would not say it's the most beginner-friendly palette because you really have to nurture the blending of it. It doesn't blend as easily as some other eyeshadows that I've used. But on the other hand, it's very, very inexpensive. So if you're already comfortable using eyeshadow and you're looking for a cheap option, I would say that that's something you may want to take a look at. Like I said, with the highlighter palette, basically it would be good for people who enjoy a glow from within subtle highlight. Oops. The blush for like under $2, I mean, I think it's the best blush you could really get because there's not a lot of other options that are that cheap. Very, very pigmented, good longevity. I would definitely try this in other colors. Maybe a color that's a little bit lighter for me, so that way if it goes on really strong, it's not going to make as much of a difference. And then the lip gloss, I would get it in all of the shades. I would give this a 9 out of 10, with Lunar Beauty being a 10 out of 10. Like, this is a very close second. I really enjoy the formula of this. Highly recommend. So with all that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me once again. If you like this video, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button with the bell notification so you can be aware of every single time I upload. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at @PebbleEyes. And I guess that is it. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys again soon. Take care now. Bye.